broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, no music.
No
Bummer.
music. It gives me chills every time.
Right?
No.
Well, happy Monday, everyone. If you are watching AfterBuzzTV.com, you've come to the right place because this is the Amazing Race After Show for Season 27, Episode 1, Too Much Beefcake. A little too much beefcake, excuse me. I'm your host, James Wallington, and with me across the table is...
What's up, guys? I'm Jessica Carroll, and...
I am Marie.
All right, so before we dive into this episode, the premiere was Friday night, as we all know. Marie and Jess had a little opportunity to go party with some people from previous seasons, other reality stars. How was it?
It was fun.
It was fun, yeah. There was probably, like 20 people there from all different seasons.
No one from the current season?
Not that I know of.
No.
I don't think so.
But there was people from the other seasons and fans, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that I couldn't make it.
We missed you.
Oh,
You guys looked
I had
great.
a picture. We should have shown it. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
Whoops.
All right, let's dive right into episode 1. There's a lot of ground to cover with the premiere episode. The team started off at their starting line, which was Venice Beach, California's graffiti wall. Marie, I know that you actually were there for the live taping. What was it like to be there and not actually physically racing?
It was weird. So I live not far from there. So I rode my bike down there, and Allie and Kim rode their bikes down there, of course, too.
Yeah,
and we met there, and it was cool. There was a lot of fans there, and it was cool to actually meet some of the fans that like I've talked to on Twitter and stuff before. But I had like anxiety. Like you feel like you're doing it all over again, just kind of watching them and like looking at them and knowing that they have like no idea what they're in for. So, but it was exciting. It was cool to be there.
Did it bring you back to when you started your race?
Yeah, I kind of had like a little bit of FOMO. I was like, oh man, I wish I was racing.
It would have been funny if when Phil said go, you all the previous racers just started running like, ah.
Because where did you start your race?
We didn't even know, we were on some set somewhere. Like it was in LA, but we had no idea where we were because it was a ranch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they like put us in this bus with like blacked out windows and drove us for like 3 hours. And then all of a sudden we were there. We were like, are we in some like old Western town? What's going on? So even as we were pulling out of the place, like we had no idea where we were.
That's crazy. Well, I remember watching the teams at the starting line on Periscope. I was in Chicago at the time, and of course all the fans were like periscoping. It was really interesting to watch it from a Periscope perspective, and then seeing the episode and how it was edited. Because I remember Phil having to do a lot of different takes, say a lot of different things, and then watching how it was all spliced together. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. That was probably like an hour, 2 hour thing,
2 hours.
And it was really 15 seconds on TV.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
Right. So that was fun. So they started off at Venice Beach graffiti wall. We start meeting all the teams. Alex and Adam touch on how they have a form of dwarfism. And then I thought it was really interesting kind of elaborating on the whole fact that, you know, Alex and Adam in their interview said Alex is more the physical teammate, where Adam was more of like the books, the brains.
Right.
So they talked about how in high school, Alex was in the wrestling team and Adam was the theater kid, which I thought was super funny. And that they're going to be the sleeper team and sneak right past every single every single team.
Yep.
Then we have Cindy and Rick. The Shack Attack, and I found out in that moment that's their last name.
Shack Attack,
which I still said dumb.
Yeah. We were talking about in our assessment. If you guys watched it on Friday, we were like, "What is Shack Attack?" It does not make any sense to us, but they said that their names are Rick and Cindy Chack.
Honestly, I think that the hashtags this season are sucky.
Yeah.
They're just too
boring.
I think the fans should like watch the first episode and then decide what the hashtags are for each team, vote, and then we give them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Denise and James Earl. This is when they started to tug on my heartstrings already from like the first 15 seconds of the show. They talked about how they were best friends forever. Denise was a single mom. And then for all of James Earl's childhood, she used to be his hero, but because of his coming out story and how that put a strain on their relationship, she hopes that this race will help her and him, come together closer and her be a hero to him again.
Yeah, she says that she doesn't feel like she's his hero anymore.
I know, that was kind of sad. And she was like, well, maybe I will be again after this. And I was, aw.
Well, Denise is a star.
So they need to win.
Totally.
She's a total star. Then we have Logan and Chris, and like how so nonchalant she was. She's like, yeah, just a few days ago we were chasing around Justin Bieber, and now we're running the race. Like,
my heart
What is your life?
Seriously, I love Justin Bieber, and so I really like the paparazzi now.
Yeah, I was surprised that as the episode went on, how much I ended up liking.
Too.
See, I didn't like them. I
Really?
still don't like them. It takes a lot for me. Okay, guys, I'm not there yet.
Yeah. No, I liked them. I thought that they were going to be annoying, and they actually weren't. Mm-hmm. They did not push my buttons.
They didn't really argue that much, so I liked them.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Another team besides Marie that was also at the starting line was Rob and Brennan, the original winners from season 1.
Yes, we met them on Friday night.
I remember you saying that. How was that?
It was really good, and it was interesting to talk to him and hear what he liked that has changed throughout all the seasons and what he didn't like. Mm-hmm. And he did say that he loves The Amazing Race because the destiny is in your hands. And so he didn't really like, the U-turns and the speed bumps because it takes your destiny out of your hands, and now it's more like luck, drawing the right card. So it was kind of interesting to hear like what he liked that's changed and what he didn't.
It'd be cool to kind of have him sit on our couch in the studio and tell us a lot of that. That'd be
I know.
fun.
We need to find a date to have him come in for sure.
All right, let's make this happen. So Phil announces that the teams will be heading to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Yep.
And he also announced that the teams were going to be going to a head-to-head bike race, and the team that won would win the only ticket that was on the first flight to Rio. Mm-hmm. So that's insane.
Yes,
it's a little bit of a lead there already. How much of a factor are the airplanes and all the traveling when it gets to a new destination?
It really depends. That's something that I think further into the race, when you're really kind of stuck and you need that, that would be something to go for. But right off the bat, the first flights to be the only team by yourself, if it's only half an hour, I would be like, you know what? Let's not do it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even want to do it because so many times you see things happen at the airport that are totally out of your control. You sit on the runway for an hour and a half,
right.
Something's delayed, and then just a half an hour is like nothing. So if you're on that first flight and something happens, well, now you're definitely behind all of the other teams. So I don't know that I necessarily would have went for that.
Which we did see, because it seemed like when they showed the planes going to Rio, the first plane was 30 minutes delayed, where the other plane was 15 minutes early.
So they
it's
got
kind
there
of
at the same time
caught
anyway.
up.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the teams are off. Phil says it's time. The world is waiting. Go. That's when we see Logan and Chris a little bit, and I love how when she jumped in the taxi, he was like, "Yeah, the Marina Del Rey or whatever," and she goes, "Don't be a gentleman, just jump in the car." I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be one of those." Then we talk about Kelly and Siobhan. Sometimes it's what they do is spirited, but that's okay. I'm already like, Kelly and Siobhan, you're driving me nuts. Yeah. And everything we said in our assessment about that team is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
It's always the same thing about how they can talk trash. Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. I was done with them before it even started.
Yep.
Well, once the head-to-head biking happened, it seemed like all the teams got there around the same time, which made the race, if you will, on the bike pedal, the water bikes, so intense. Because it looks like at some points, Denise and James Earl were in the lead, and then you see Tanner and Josh, and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're going to totally get it. They're like the Macho Man. And then when their bike broke, I was like, oh, it's anybody's game right now.
Yeah.
And then Dustin and Diana just kind of snuck their way in there.
Yep. But it looked hard. I mean, even the Tanner and the Texans, they were even switching people on the bike.
I think, they were taking turns. Now, we actually saw this. Allie and I, we paddleboard here at Mother's Beach.
Oh, wow.
So before all of this, one day we were out there and we saw this whole crew of people testing these bikes out. And we were like, what are these bikes? What's going on? What is this? And then, after this all came out, we were like, oh my God, it makes sense. We saw them testing the bikes.
Oh my gosh.
So that's right in the area that we go. We actually saw the next day after they raced, they had left the little markers everywhere. So there were arrows that were on the docks and whatnot. So we knew where they had been.
That's so
I bet you Allie was like,
cool.
I want to try that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
right.
she was so mad. She was like, a bike race? Come on.
Maybe we'll go and rent some water bikes ourselves
try it out.
and do
And just
our
try
own
it.
little race.
Yeah.
So Justin and Diana are the first ones to get off their water bike. They get to Phil, and of course they claim the first and the only ticket on the first plane to Rio de Janeiro. So congratulations to Jessica's team already taking the lead. Once all the teams are at the airport, we see a little bit more of Kelly and Siobhan's personality coming out. I was just like wanting to mute my TV. Going back to them wanting to be mean-spirited, they automatically start judging the other teams that they're competing with. Some things that just stuck out to me was with Team Alabama, when she started talking about how that team reminded them of the Norman Bates relationship with their mother, and I thought that was really uncalled for. It's like, why be rude for the sake of being rude? If there's no need to be rude.
Because they didn't bring anything else to it.
Yeah, it's just like why say it? There really is not a rhyme or reason to be mean-spirited, and I was just like, you guys just need to shut up, because this isn't TMZ, this is The Amazing Race, and I don't care to watch you. So I was a little pissed off. Don't get me started on that. And then they start talking about Team Texas, about how they fist bump too much, and then the cheerleaders are already questioning about how their primping process is, and I'm just like, oh god, whatever. So that's Kelly and Siobhan for you.
Worrying about everyone else.
Yeah, they should worry about their race.
Yeah.
Yes. So upon arriving in Rio de Janeiro, teams had to travel to Lagoa helipad to get their route info or a fast-forward clue. And like we said a little bit earlier, the first flight was 20 minutes delayed. Excuse me, I said 30 minutes earlier. 20 minutes delayed, while the second flight was 5 minutes early. So
it was, had a
kinda
10-minute.
Right. So once the teams get to the route info, there was a fast forward clue as well as the route info. The fast forward I thought was really interesting that it was on the first leg. I was like, why would anyone want to go for it? It's the first leg. If you're not in last, there's no point in going for it. So the clue was teams had to make their way to Clube São Conrado free flight, where they had to ride a hang glide from Pedra Bonita over the city of Rio. Justin and Diana, which we predicted in our assessment show on Friday, were a little too eager to be running the Amazing Race and decided to go for it when it looked like they were only neck and neck with Cindy and Rick.
Right.
And they were like, we might as well just go for it. I'm like thinking,
So
no.
stupid. No, I was
Let
like,
me
yelling
correct
at my
you.
TV.
First of all, Diana made no decision. It was Justin. He was like, yeah, we're doing it. Let's go. And he literally, like, she didn't have a word in the whole decision making. And she did say, you know, early on that Justin kind of takes control of the relationship. And I really hope that she actually makes decisions, because she could make the right decision.
I think she is, like, starting next episode, I think we're going to see her, like, step up a little bit, because his way doesn't work.
No.
And it kind of goes back to what we saw in their interviews prior to the race, that she even said she lacks a lot of confidence. So maybe that's why she didn't really step up to make a decision and say, no, Justin, let's not go for it. It's too soon. But of course, they were a little too eger to be running the Amazing Race.
Right.
Decided to go for the fast forward, and it ultimately backfired, because the moment they ended up getting up to the helipad, or the spot for the fast forward to do the hang gliding, the weather was too bad and they couldn't do it.
And you knew that was coming too.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, weather dependent.
And he even made a comment
flashback
about
to,
it.
like, when we were in Austria and Jay and Amy were going to bungee jump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, of course it's windy when you got there. Like, come on, it's not going to be that easy. You know that's going to happen. So I was just like, oh, what a dumb decision.
Right. And you would think, like, you know, yes, he is a super fan, and so he probably remembered, oh, one team did a fast forward and it worked for them, let's do it. But I think that his excitement got in the way, and he got too ahead of himself.
Especially because what I said was when he was like, oh, the weather, it's a gamble. And I'm like, if you already think it's going to be a gamble, why?
You're already
in
the
the lead.
lead.
Like,
Yeah.
just keep the lead.
Oh, Justin and
So
Diana.
if that happens, he starts crying.
Hopefully moving forward, they'll make smarter decisions.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone starts to trickle in back to back, pulling the numbers off the board to take their helicopter over the city, which looked absolutely breathtaking. The clue stated that on their way to their next destination while taking the helicopter, they were going to be going over the city of Rio, and they were going to be asked a question once they landed about something that they saw on their helicopter journey. I thought it was absolutely brilliant that Ernest and Jen, team dancers, started using maps at the helipad of what they were going to see over the city and just jotting down names. So,
and they wrote down everything they saw, which you'll see later on helped them out.
Absolutely.
And they did say, they're like, this is the hood of Brazil, because it looked very packed, and
Yeah, it was so cramped.
very cramped. It almost looked like like lower class.
Yeah, one of them, what did they say? Oh, one of them was like, this is the projects of Brazil, right? Because all the houses were like on top of each other. But yeah, no, they were definitely smart to look at the maps and write all of that down. And then when they got up there, they were the only team that hesitated too. They were like, oh my God, what did we see? Like starting to go through their notes. So,
and good thing they had it in their notes. And even the way they pronounced it was so funny.
Well, I definitely loved this whole helicopter experience because it's fun
neat
to see the teams do these things and then want to like live it. We live vicariously through them.
And I love how the reporter team, they talk in broadcast.
Yes, they do.
All right, everyone, we are here on the helicopter. We are overseeing Brazil as we look right now. I was like, okay, you guys can talk in normal voice.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing that like on purpose or like it just happens.
Or if their producers are like, forcing them into it. I'm like, when will it get old? That's just what I'm wondering. Or is it already old?
It's already old. It's already old.
And then they did their little helicopter kiss, and I was like, that was the least romantic thing I've ever seen in my life.
Right. And it's like you're already perpetuating your hashtag a little too much. We get it. You're reporters. So once the teams landed, they ended up being asked, what's the name of the statue that you guys passed on your flight? If they gave the right answer, which was Christ the Redeemer, they would receive their next clue.
Yeah.
So they get their next clue, which is the detour, sand versus sidewalk. Mm-hmm. I loved this detour already. Both detours required teams to travel to Copacabana Beach. In sand, they had to play foot volley against local professional players. While the pros could not use their hands, the teams could. They had to score at least 6 points against the locals in order to receive their next clue. In the sidewalk detour, teams had to do a giant geometric slide puzzle. Once teams completed the puzzle, they would receive their next clue. Based on the information we know about this detour, which one would you ladies have done?
I would have done the volleyball.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. Well, that was always our motto. We were like, anything physical, let's just do it. Although the puzzle, I mean, it seemed easy enough. I mean, some of the teams didn't even notice that they were standing on the puzzle, doing the puzzle.
Right.
Like, it was the same thing as the sidewalk. The only thing that I thought was crazy.
I think the name would give it away. But.
Right. Like, everyone switched. They did it for like 4 seconds, and then, oh my God, we can't do this. We have to do the other one. And back, like, I was surprised how many of them switched. Like, they're not impossible. Like, just stick with something, because I think the teams that switched are the ones that lost the most time, and the ones that even weren't doing well that stuck with it, they ended up ahead.
Yeah.
So I would have done the volleyball. That seemed fun. I don't know why they all had to put on miniature white bathing suits. I'm not really sure what that had to do with anything, but it was funny.
It was funny, especially how they had to put that tube, that like wire
change.
tube, change. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. But I would have probably done the puzzle just because me and volleyball just don't really work very well. We don't mix very well, and I'm actually really good at puzzles. But I think that I probably would have ended up switching. But I do agree. I think that when teams switch, we always have said this, that, it's
a huge risk.
It's a huge risk to switch. But I think because the two detours were so close to each other, they were like, oh, we can just switch right away.
It was like literally right on the sand.
It was right there. Like, oh, that looks easier. Let's switch. And so literally, I think like almost half the team switched.
Yeah, at least half of them.
So it was... You don't see that very often, but I think it was because they were so close to each other. I agree,
because normally on previous seasons, detours are like completely different parts of the city. This one was like right next to each other. Yeah. Everyone in our live chat, just really quick, wanted to give some shout outs because everyone's very active talking about which detour they would have done. It looks fairly even right now. We have a lot of sand, we have a lot of sidewalk, but just giving out some shout outs to Adam Parrish, Adam Millwood, Marco Polo 310, Joseph Boza, Scarpen, Paula Mangarelli. Thank you all so much for tuning in live. We appreciate it and being so interactive with us. So yeah, it looks pretty even in the chat right now between sand and sidewalk. I personally would have done sand just because I love volleyball, so it would have been fun. Especially, who could say they beat some local professionals on
like you could try puzzle anywhere.
Yeah. And the puzzle was boring. Like the ball was more fun for sure.
But like
I felt bad for poor Rick though, because Cindy was like, "Oh, those shorts look bad on you. Like I do not dig those shorts." And I was like, way to make him feel confident on live TV.
Yeah, there were some times with Cindy and Rick that I wasn't thoroughly impressed by them. And I know that they watched the show, and I don't mean any hard feelings by that, but just how the puzzle was handled, and Rick is already not really listening to Cindy and being a team. It was just kind of like, ugh.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Listen to her. Because it seemed like she was giving some valid points in the puzzle, so... I don't know. I don't know how well they're going to do.
I know.
Well, I mean, she had mentioned that too, that he's used to being like a doctor and like bossing the nurses around and whatnot. And I think we've seen that in other couples before. So he's going to have to learn how to like let her have some input when they have to make decisions. And, you know, I think he's used to just doing everything and then giving her, like, delegating a part of the assignment to her.
Right. Well, hopefully she'll learn to, like, put her foot down with him, too.
Yeah.
Because I think already, if that's something you want to, like, work on in your relationship, this first, like, I would have been like, look, please listen to me. I understand you want to do this yourself, but let's be a team. Otherwise, this is going to set the course of our entire race, and I don't want that to happen. So hopefully she'll be able to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So like we talked about earlier, a lot of teams switched up the detours this leg of the race, especially the first leg. For sand, Team Texas, Track Stars, Team TMZ, the reporters, the dancers all did sand. Sidewalk was Track Attack, Team Alabama, and the Cousins. Now the teams that did end up switching were Kelsey and Joe. They did sidewalk at first, then ultimately switched to sand. The cheerleaders did sand at first, then switched to sidewalk, and then the green team did sidewalk and then switched to sand. I can't imagine what Justin and Diana were feeling in those moments where they already counted themselves out of the race, showing up to Copacabana Beach, seeing the girls doing the puzzle and being like, we're still in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when he got in the cab ride and he completely broke down because he found out that, you know, due to weather, they couldn't do the fast forward. I love his passion, but I was like, buddy, you got to keep it together. Like, he was crying, I felt like, the entire episode. And you got to keep your attitude up during
I think
the
he's
race.
going to cry the whole time. Like, I started a tally. Like, I have a Justin cry count in my notes.
It's a drinking game.
I was going to say, we need a drinking game. Every time someone cries during this season, we need a drink because there
was a lot of crying this first episode.
So much crying. I was like, oh my God, if someone else cries, I'm going to die.
There's going to be a lot of crying. I don't know. I don't know if Justin's going to pull it together and stop crying, but he's like going to give Rachel a run for her money. I mean, she's like the cry queen of Amazing Race, but this
Rachel, you got some
be
competition now.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I hope he pulls it together because I just don't want to watch him cry.
No.
You know, I don't.
So, hopefully that'll change.
Yeah.
So it seemed like there were some front runners in this detour. We had the Track Stars, Jasmine and Danielle, Tanner and Josh, Team Texas. We also saw Cindy and Rick, as well as my favorite, James, Earl, and Denise. Like, the four of them seem to be really cohesive, doing really well. They're kind of running the leg this season, you know, already off to a great start. So those are kind of the front runners I see already of this season. But when it came down to running to the pit stop between Tanner and Josh, Jasmine and Danielle, I'm not going to lie, there was a moment I was really hoping it was the Track Stars. Because I was like, Tanner and Josh would be so predictable. But yeah, I really wanted the Track Stars to get first place.
No way. I was happy. Texans got first place. I was excited. And they got the express pass.
I was surprised too because they didn't get in a cab. They ran the whole thing. And they had thought that because they ran, like, they were going to lose time and other people were going to be ahead of them. We saw the track girls get in the cab and I was like, oh my God, like, they're going to run this for no reason. But I don't know how. Like, sometimes that works out and they did end up getting there first.
And then the cheerleaders got kicked out of their cab.
Yeah, that was weird.
That
I wonder
was
what they were
so
doing.
Weird.
Dropped off at the wrong part of the beach.
Unless maybe they didn't have enough money and the guy was like, get out, because you did see other teams run out of money.
Right.
Which, you know, happens so much on the first leg. I remember we did it. Like, we blew all of our money in 5 minutes and had to run like 8 miles in the first leg of the race.
What do you blow your money on, though?
Because they give you your first amount of money and nobody realizes that, you know, you have to either make it last the whole leg or let it go over into the next leg. And everyone gets to the airport and you're there for like 12 hours and they're like, Sweeney got pizza. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? So many teams just like got food, got water, you know, not realizing that like that's only for your transportation. So we were stuck halfway through the first leg with no money. And I think that's probably maybe what happened to the boys.
Didn't Justin say like, oh, well, there goes all our money?
Yeah.
Because they took a cab to the fast forward and then they take another cab back.
Begged a cab, I think, to drive them the last part. And he was like, I have literally like a nickel. Like, can you just do me a favor? And the guy was like, okay.
Well, because the cheerleaders were dropped off a little bit earlier than their destination was, they had a problem with the detour. They were towards the bottom with Team TMZ and the green team. It really seemed neck and neck for a while. I was like, oh, as long as it's not the cheerleaders, I'm okay. No offense to Justin and Diana. But I was really nervous because it really did come down to that puzzle between the cheerleaders and Team TMZ. What were you guys thinking between this little like showdown right here?
Oh my gosh, I was like, the cheerleaders cannot go home. No. And then literally they just like moved one.
It was an accident.
Yeah, they just moved and they were like, oh my God, we have it. What? We just did it. And I was
they
like,
didn't even realize they finished it.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Thank God. And it felt like even when TMZ did finally finish it, it kind of just happened. Like they didn't even really.
Yeah. And I think it had said the time elapsed was like close to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many times this has happened before, but like the fact that Phil had to go get them and be like, okay, you know what?
Sad.
Enough. Like, done. You took too long.
Could you imagine doing one puzzle for 4 hours?
Oh my God, I would
Like
die.
how? What?
Don't
None of the
you
other
think
teams lasted that long. Like, what?
Don't you think they would have at least tried to switch? Like try the volley?
I think once the girls...
That would have been a little bit more embarrassing.
After like an hour goes by and you can see the volleyball courts and see that no one's there and you see the last team leave, like... So we're talking, they were there for like hours after. Like they know nobody else is there. Like what are they going to go play volleyball for? The one girl like put her clothes back on and was like, I don't want to get a sunburn. Like,
I don't want to be in this white bathing suit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they just kind of were like, all right, we are just going to keep doing this until they tell us to stop. We know we're going home.
Right. Oh, bless your heart,
Yay!
Kelly and Siobhan.
Yeah, we're kind of happy they went home. But, man, not even finishing the first leg.
Yeah, that's so embarrassing.
Embarrassing. First time in Amazing Race history.
Yeah, they are going to be great bait at TMZ.
You're that bad. Yeah, right. I wonder if there has been any clips on TMZ.
We need to find
TMZ
out.
of
Oh my
Team
God,
TMZ being completely...
Karma bites you in the butt. You talk shit about everyone else, now they're talking shit about you.
So our final lineup for this first leg, which was the pit stop at Arpoador Lookout. I'm already butchering names this season.
Good guess.
Team number 1, Team Texas, who also got their Express Pass. Let's talk about the Express Pass for a little bit because obviously from previous seasons, this is a little bit different.
Right.
Marie, I know you and I before we went live, we exchanged some words on this and what we think is going on. Did anyone else out there, if you're watching right now live, I know there's a lot of you, type in your chat and let us help us understand the Express Pass twist because we're not
what we think is basically that there's one Express Pass instead of 2, and the winners of the Express Pass get it. They can use it whenever they want to use it. And then after they use it, they need to then give it to another team. And I think that team has to use it in that same leg. So,
or they can pass it on to someone else. Or they have to use it.
You can double pass it on? Are you asking or are you telling me?
I'm asking.
I don't know. I think maybe you could give it to another team, but the way that it sounded was like, you know, say a team uses it in the second leg and then they just hang on to it. And then in the fourth leg, they give it to another team. That team have to use it in the fourth leg.
Gotcha. So it's like Sisterhood of the Traveling
So I don't know
Pants.
if you have to decide like right in the beginning of the leg, like, okay, we're leaving and, you know, we're going to give it to so-and-so and then they have it. Or if it's something where, you know, maybe you're at a detour and like another team's stuck and you can like hand it over.
Right.
I don't really know, but I know that there's only one. And
so
you have to use it first before you give it away.
So ultimately, it's one Express Pass that's good for 2 teams. The first place team has to use it first.
Right.
At any point in the race. Once they're done using it, they're null and void. They cannot use it any longer. But if they see a team they're maybe aligned with that's struggling in a challenge that they would like to help out, they have to hand that Express Pass over, and then that team has to use it on the spot.
Right.
They can't use it for later on. They just use it for that leg, and then it's out of the game.
But we don't know if there's a time frame that you have to use, that the first team has to use it by. Like I remember, I think it was our season, we had to use it by a certain leg. So I don't know if they have like up until like 5 or 6 to use it, or they can literally wait until final 3 and be like, okay, we need it. And I mean, that would be stupid to then give it to somebody else at that point. So I don't know. Does anybody else know?
Let us know.
We have some viewers weighing in on it. Marco Polo 310 says they have to use it and then pass it off to another team who have to use it in that very next leg.
Okay.
So it's the next leg they have to use it.
Okay, so you use it in 3, you hand it over, they use it in 4.
Not anywhere after that.
Oh, okay.
That's his take on it. Then we have Jason L. So the team uses it, but then gives it to another team, and then they have to use it the next leg. Okay. All right, so it seems like we have a consistent pattern. Then we have Joseph Boza, who says it has to be used within the first 5 legs.
Okay, that sounds normal.
Yeah. That sounds normal. Then Scarpen says they can use it for the first 5 legs and then give it to another team. And then that team has to use it the next leg.
Okay,
so it seems like we're all on the same page.
No matter what, though, if they hold it as long as they possibly can and use it in leg 5, that means the other team is not going to be using an express pass. Like, we're not going to see any express pass action past leg 6.
Right.
Which wasn't the case before. So this kind of changes things because, I mean, before you could have given it away and they can use it in 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
But now we're not going to see anybody use it past the 6th leg.
Yeah. So it has to be.
Which I kind of like
Yeah,
that.
I kind of like that too.
So my question is then, like, if they have up to the 5th leg to use it, then they automatically have to give it to another team.
Right.
So they don't have the option to either give it or not. They have to give it to.
give it away.
I like that. And then if they use it in leg 5, then another team gets used in leg 6.
Right.
Regardless.
Right. And then after that, it's dead.
Which kind of sucks for that second team. I mean, because basically if you're not in trouble, all you're doing is like kind of giving yourself a win. It would be nice to be able to save it. You know, what if you need it in leg 8?
Right.
So that's like an interesting little twist that I think people are going to be really opinionated on.
I'm so glad that everyone who's watching right now is totally on the same page with us.
Okay.
Thank you. We're all on the same page. We're off to a great start. All right, let's talk about the rest of the placings for this first leg. In second place, we have the Track Star.
Yay.
In third place, Jack Attack.
Jack Attack.
Fourth place, Team Alabama. Fifth place, Team Paparazzi. 6th, The Cousins. 7.
Oh, I have to say, so about Team Alabama,
Yes.
she like put her lipstick on right before she ran up
so cute.
to Phil.
Oh, that's right. And he was like, "Did you put lipstick on me?" But she was like, "Of course."
I know, she is such a Southern diva.
She's like, I have to have pink somewhere.
I
Love
loved
that.
her.
6th place, The Cousins. 7th place, The Dancers. 8th place, The Reporters. 9th place, The Green Team. 10th place, The Cheerleaders. And last but not least, the team who failed epically in the first leg of
last
The
but
Amazing Race
least.
and eliminated.
Yeah.
Team TMZ, who couldn't even finish the puzzle. Poor Phil had to go to them.
And I loved, great editing, by the way, all you editors out there, that you had Team Green saying like, no more crying this episode, or like this season. Let's see if he sticks to that. I don't think so.
Yeah,
He tells Phil like, no more crying.
Hopefully they'll just make
I
some
won't do any
choices.
more stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a little
Foreshadowing.
cute. I do think it's cute though that he is so devoted to making her dreams come true. This Amazing Race obviously being one of those dreams. But hopefully he can find that equal balance of I'm wanting to make her dream come true, but you already have. Like now that you're running the race, the dream has happened.
Yeah.
So now I'm focused on winning the race rather than playing hard.
Right.
Because otherwise it's just
Play
gonna blow
smart.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. But his passion, you can't, like, his passion is so awesome. I love it.
So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's watching. There's 21 viewers watching live right now. So thank you to every single one of you guys because we love doing our after show. And we love when you all comment with us because it's fun when you have a community of fans.
Yes.
Right, Marie? I'm
And
sure
they
you get
reassure
people
us
still.
that we know what we're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for clearing that up. Now we know what the Express Pass
And
is
I
all
know
about.
during the assessment, Marie, you said something about everyone's mad that, Justin's not here this season. Everyone's so glad to have you.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. So you have had a positive response. Also, all of you 21 people watching, please give that little thumbs up a thumbs up. We want a thumbs up on our video and then copy and paste the link on your social media platforms to share the wealth with everyone out there because we want more viewers every single week.
Everybody needs to become an Amazing Race fan.
Yes, I like it. So let's do a little bit predictions. Let's talk about the teams. Let's do a little quick assessment.
Now,
Okay.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we're going to break down a quick assessment of the teams, but we're going to do it by fantasy team. So we'll do a report for each team. So Marie, give us a report on your fantasy team.
Okay,
What's
so
happening?
First of all, I did well, right?
Yes,
I think
you
I'm
did.
in the lead
You're
here.
in the
because I
lead.
had the track stars and I had Cindy and Rick, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of my picks. I think my teams did well. The Cousins were 6th. Like we said, they're just going to kind of float their way through. They're going to be in the middle the whole time. I'm sticking with my teams. I think they're going to do well. I'm hoping the track girls are going to give me a win next week. Confident in that. We'll see. And Cindy and Rick, they're gonna be like top 3 again, I think, because that's just what the doctor teams do. And I think the cousins are gonna hold on. They're not going anywhere for a while. So I'm like happy with my teams, and I'm gonna stick with them. I'm not gonna be trading anytime soon, unless somebody wants to give up the cheerleaders.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. And for all those who are in the chat right now that are a little confused about what we're talking about, we on our pre-assessment show, we split up all the teams and did a fantasy league draft. So we're talking about our individual teams and who we drafted on, and that's just so there's a little bit of confusion.
And they can do it too, right? They can join in and do it?
They can join in the fun by going to fantasizer.com. But it's CR, not ER. Jess, what about your fantasy team?
All right, so on my team, I have the Texans, who won and got number 1, and I think they're going to stay in the lead. Love them. Team Green, unfortunately, got 9th place, but they made a boo-boo. I just really hope, just like we kind of talked about all this whole recap, that I want him to take he already made the dream come true, and I want him to now play smart instead of playing hard and trying to do all the right decisions. I hope he goes by his gut. So I hope that they kind of bounce back and realize that you can't make stupid mistakes. And then the reporters, I think that they're going to hang in there. They're just, chilling.
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack. Talking in the reporter voice. But so, I think that the Texans are going to stay in the lead.
All right. And then for my fantasy league team, I have Denise and James Earl, Team Alabama, who I'm really proud of. They're already starting off the race on the right foot. No pun intended. And then we also have the cheerleaders, who may almost have been eliminated this first season, but I really do have a lot of faith in them, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that they are able to work their way up and kind of be the underdogs. They love a good underdog story. And then I also have Team Paparazzi, who's just kind of in the middle, kind of there.
Yep.
Not really doing too bad, not doing too good. They're just there. So I'm kind of happy about that. But by our rankings, I'm doing the worst. By points, I'm in last place.
We have to keep them down.
I'm in last place right now with 10 points. Jessica, you are in second place with 13 points. And Marie Reeves, you are in 17 points, first place.
Yay!
There we go. And I know a lot of people have been questioning like how the score is tabulated and whatnot. But the way it's broken down is if you are placed in the top 3, you get points for that. So first place is 5 points, second place is 4 points, third place is 3rd, and then if you're 4th through 7th, you get 2, and then if you're 8th through 10th, you get 1 point. But if you're eliminated, you don't get any points.
Right.
Easy as that. But the bonuses on how to get bonus points is if your team has a confessional during the episode, you get 1 point per confessional. But the way we decided was a confessional is when it's like a standalone, they're at the pit stop, like after the fact, recapping what happened on the leg. None of the taxi cab confessionals, the flight confessionals, none of the on-the-fly interviews.
Right.
It's the standalone interviews that count as a confessional. So if you want to know more about the points, definitely check out Fantasizer because there's a breakdown over there. But that is the points as of now after first episode. Marie first, 17. Jess second, 13. And last but not least, me.
Did anyone get any bonus points?
No. If Justin and Diana would have gotten the fast forward, you would have gotten bonus points for that.
Right.
And you would have been in first place.
Oh.
Lo and behold, they did not.
It didn't. But they didn't.
It didn't happen. So I polled the audience right now in our live chat of whose team that they are on, and we have an overwhelming response for Team Marie.
Yay!
Everyone is on Team Marie. Obviously, you're in first place.
Yeah, duh.
Jess, I hate to say it, nobody is Team Jess, but I am actually Team Jess.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of teams on your team that I want, so I'm Team Jess. I don't know about you guys.
Come on, guys.
So yeah, that's a quick update. And I also have some news and gossip really quick that I wanted to dive into.
Love news and gossip.
Love it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So one of our loyal fans reached out to me on Facebook with a little bit of information about the dancers. Let me scroll down here and figure out where it is. Ultimately, what they told us is that, you know, it's no secret they were on America's Best Dance Crew. And a lot of viewers don't trust them because during their time on there was a lot of drama and that they come off as frauds to a lot of the fans. Back on their season, they auditioned for season 3 as a new crew and never made it on. Once again, they appeared on America's Got Talent, making it to the top 48. And they made one more appearance on season 5 of America's Best Dance Crew. made it to the East Coast Regionals, but were eliminated. And apparently it was the same old story. They don't want to be throwing shade on this team, but they're ranked low on his roster because they are mainly, there are a lot of talk, and people are just getting to feel bad because they're living out of their car, but that's what they have always said.
That's probably just a story.
Their story on TV. So, yeah.
I don't believe anything anyone says.
So maybe they're frauds. Maybe they're not really living in their car, but...
This is their story.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is just from a viewer. Sorry that was a little sporadic, but there's a lot of bold letters and lowercase letters, and it's just... I can tell this person is very passionate about this news. So there you have it. I want you guys to leave comments below. Do you think the dancer's story is genuine? Or do you think it's a fraud?
Yeah.
Do you think they're really living out of their cars? Or do you think they lived out of their cars 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
And now it's just the story for the
You know,
current
everybody
season.
like kind of exaggerates their own story a little bit. Like the reporters who can't afford an apartment.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
If that's the case, then why are you living in Santa Barbara?
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, so we can't really be mad at them. I mean, if they took their story and they kind of ran with it and exaggerated a little bit, big deal, you know, everybody else did. I'm sure they lived in their car once for 5 minutes 5 years ago. So they're not lying, but it's probably a little exaggerated.
Someone said people will do anything for their 15 minutes of fame.
Yes, it's
true.
It's true.
I mean, this is what, their fourth or third show that they're on, so we don't know. We don't know the truth.
It works.
But I like them.
Yeah,
Don't get me
I do
wrong.
too.
I'm actually a fan of them on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, I'm not mad at them
Story
at all. I
aside,
wanna
they're fun
watch
to
them.
watch.
Yeah.
But let us know what your guys' predictions for next episode. Who do you think is
Yes.
going to be the first on the mat and who's going to go home?
Well, speaking of predictions, why don't we give our own?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so I think that the Texas boys are going to go from like first to worst. They're not going to get eliminated. It's going to be close. I feel like we're just going to see them go, like they're going to go into this next leg. They're going to be like, you know, we got this. Of course we won. We're the strongest team, blah, blah, blah. And something, I don't know if they're going to make a mistake or it's just going to be dumb luck. But I see them somehow ending up way at the back of the pack and almost getting eliminated. But we're not going to lose them just yet.
Right.
I don't know who's going home. I'm going to say the track girls are going to win because, like, I want them to win.
Right.
So I'm hoping for that. And as far as who goes home, maybe the reporters. I want them to stop reporting. So, well, because I feel like they're kind of similar to the paparazzi. They're similar to Cindy and Rick. Like, there's not much, you know, like, so I think one of them should go home because there's too many of the same.
All right. What do you think, Jess?
I think that my Texans, my boys, are going to stay in first. Hopefully, you're not right, and that their ego doesn't. Hopefully, their ego doesn't get in the way, so that they stay in the first. And then, as far as who's going home, I really don't want it to be the reporters. I don't want it to be my Team Green. Hopefully, that after making this boo-boo, they get their head in their game and they start making smarter decisions. I'm gonna probably say, God, this is hard. Maybe the street dancers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good choice. I'm going to say that first place is going to be the track stars. Actually, I'm torn. I think they're either going to get first or they're going to get last. I saw a clip, and I don't know if it was a preview for the next episode or if it was like what's happening this season, but they were definitely on the mat with Phil crying in one of the clips. So I don't know if that was a poor mistake on the editor's part, but they were crying on the pit stop. So I don't know if it was because they got first or they got worse. I don't know.
It's because they got first. Let's just go with
So
that.
I want to say
Jinx it,
I want to
James.
say they get first because I'm actually a huge fan of them and I do believe in them. They were so close this leg, so I think they're gonna.
They deserve it.
They're gonna get first, and then last place I'm gonna say Cindy and Rick.
No.
Oh, no.
They're on my
Shack
fantasy
attack.
team.
If they can't get their communication together, they're not gonna
Yeah.
last. So I think Cindy and Rick might have one of those moments where he wants to do everything on his own and he's going to be the reason the team loses.
I could see that happening.
So
I
I'm
hope
gonna
not
say
yet,
Cindy and
but
Rick.
I see that happening eventually.
All right, well, those are our predictions.
Let us know what you guys think.
It seems like a lot of people think the reporters might go.
See, I'm always right, guys. Trust me on this one.
They say they won't be too sad if they go home. A lot of people are saying the reporting. A lot of people are saying the reporters are going to go home and that the reporting gets old.
Okay, so if they go home, do I get to pick a new team?
Well, I mean, the dancers are a free agent,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you just can't
You would
pick
have to-
TMZ because they're gone already, but you can
But I
swap
could take the dancers.
in.
Okay.
yeah.
I feel like you should have to make that decision
or
before.
you trade before they get eliminated.
Yeah.
That's a good.
I don't think you can trade after. That's not fair.
I think once they're eliminated, they're stuck on your team, blacked out.
And that's
they're
it.
done. You can't trade an eliminated team.
Yeah,
out.
so you're gonna have to.
But
think
if you
about
think
this.
they're gonna get eliminated, you might want to trade them out for the dancers because that makes things a lot more interesting. Because what if you switch your
Right,
the
exactly.
team out and then
then-
they get eliminated?
That would suck.
I like that idea. Let's do that.
Okay, I'll strategize.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that kind of wraps up our after show for the premiere. Great job, guys.
Good.
That
I'm
was a lot
excited
of
to see what
stuff.
happens. Yeah.
So, Marie, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Reebsicle on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Jessica,
like
where can they
popsicle.
find you?
You can find me at DressJessXO on all social media.
And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at James.Wallington. And my YouTube channel, Where's Wallington? If you like traveling, follow me on my adventures in life because I have a lot of vlogs up on there. And last but not least, if you want to join in the fun of the Fantasy League draft, which there actually is already a team that started on there, so that's great. If you want to continue to join and get a group of friends or family together, coworkers, whatever, go to fantasizer.com, fantasizer with a ZR, not ZER, so don't be confused by that, and start your own league and play along with us this season. Pick your own teams, have fun with it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the fun with us this season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for
Thank
watching.
you.
See you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.